My wife cheated on me with my golden child brother, lied about the baby, took my car in the divorce, and now my family begs for money after I got promoted. I'm a 29-year-old guy, and just 2 months ago, I finalized my divorce. My ex-wife, who's 27, had been sleeping with my brother, yeah, my own brother, for who knows how long. We'd been distant for years, but 4 months ago, everything blew up when she dropped the bomb that she was pregnant. At first, she tried to make it seem like the baby was mine. She really pushed that idea hard. But the way my brother kept coming around more and more often, it didn't sit right with me. Something in my gut kept telling me things weren't adding up. One night, I gave in to that feeling and looked through her phone. What I found shattered everything. I confronted her right then and there. She couldn't lie anymore. She came clean, said she'd been hooking up with my brother behind my back. She admitted it because, honestly, she had no choice left. My relationship with my family had already been broken long before any of this happened. I walked away from them when I turned 18, and for good reason. They always made me feel like I didn't belong, like I was just some outsider living under their roof. Meanwhile, my brother. He was their pride and joy, their so-called golden child. I still remember one moment that sealed the deal for me. It was during a celebration that was supposedly meant for me, some kind of party. But they started it without even waiting for me. When I walked in and saw the cake, I felt sick. That was it for me. I called them out and asked why they had never once thrown a party for anything I'd actually achieved. Their answer. They didn't want my brother to feel left out after I got my college acceptance letter, so they threw the party for him instead. Then they had the nerve to tell me I was being selfish and should have used that moment to lift my brother up. That hit hard. That day, I made a promise to myself, I would never go back. And I kept that promise. I paid for college on my own, loans, side jobs, whatever it took. After graduating, I moved into a tiny apartment with a buddy. And from that moment on, I cut all contact with my parents. They never reached out either. It was like we just stopped existing to each other. But time went by. A lot of it. And last year, out of nowhere, my brother messaged me online. Said my parents wanted to reconnect. Supposedly, they missed me. I'd gone on with life, gotten married about 2 years earlier, was living comfortably. But deep down, I still carried all that pain. So, after some thinking, I agreed to see them again. It was awkward, no doubt. Tense. But they seemed like they were trying to make things right, and I figured maybe I should try too. So I brought them over to my place, let them into my world again. And now, looking back, I realized that was the first huge mistake. Because that's when my brother met my wife. And not long after that, they started sneaking around behind my back. She ended up pregnant, and I, like a fool, was excited. I truly believed that child was mine. But then, just like I said earlier, my brother started coming over more and more. At first, I didn't think much of it. But things started getting real strange. He'd put his hands on her belly and talk to the baby like he was the dad. My wife brushed it off, said it was harmless. But my instincts screamed otherwise. By the 6th month of her pregnancy, I couldn't take it anymore. One night, while she was asleep, I picked up her phone and went through it. What I found crushed me. Text after text between her and my brother, all the proof I needed. The baby wasn't mine. It was his. And not only that, turns out they'd been seeing each other for a long time. Turns out, she never had any intention of telling me the truth. Her plan with my brother was simple: wait until the baby was born, then break the news, file for divorce, and start their happy little life together. And the worst part? They were counting on living off the child support I'd be paying. That was the future they had mapped out behind my back. The next morning, I brought it up. I asked her straight up about the texts I had read. At first, she tried to deny everything, acting like I was just being paranoid. But after a while, she broke down and admitted it all. That was the final nail in the coffin. 2 years of marriage, gone in an instant. And just like always, my parents stood behind my brother and my now ex-wife. All those times they told me that both of us meant the same to them. Just empty words. When she and my brother announced the divorce online, and made it public that they were together now, my whole family backed them up like it was something to celebrate. Not a single person cared that they had completely destroyed my mental health. Nobody gave a damn that I had been lied to for months or that I had believed that baby was mine. I lost not just my wife, but what I thought was my future child too. The pain was unreal. My parents actually told me I should be happy for them. That I should be glad my ex and my brother had finally found happiness. They even invited me to celebrate with them. That was it. I cut them off again, completely this time. And that decision came with a cost. The divorce was a disaster. She walked away with a fat settlement and even took my car. My own family backed her during the legal battle, because, well, she was part of the family now. Her lawyer spun this ridiculous narrative that I was controlling and toxic, said I forced her to quit her job, which was a flat-out lie. She quit on her own. But that did not matter. My family backed up the lie, saying the reason they distanced themselves from me years ago was because of my misogynistic behavior and temper tantrums. So, yeah, everything was stacked against me. I lost a lot of money. A lot. But at least I got to keep the house. When it was finally over, I was just relieved. I did not want to see any of those people ever again. Where I live, there is no waiting period for divorce, and luckily she did not contest it, so I was able to get everything wrapped up fast and start moving forward. Forgetting all of it was no easy task. But I threw myself into work. I stayed late, picked up extra projects, just tried to block it all out and become the best version of myself. And it worked. Just 2 weeks ago, I got promoted, new title, higher salary, even a nicer company car. Everything I had been grinding for finally started to pay off. To celebrate, I decided to take myself out to dinner. Just me, good food, quiet night. I posted a quick photo online, not thinking much of it. And that's when things got weird again. A day or two later, my mom reached out. Said she wanted me to come visit. I could not believe it. After everything they did, after how they treated me during the divorce, now they suddenly wanted to talk. At first, I ignored her messages. Thought it would all die down. But she kept calling. Over and over. And when that did not work, she actually showed up at my office. Caused a scene at the front desk. Started yelling at the receptionist. It was beyond embarrassing. Just to calm things down, I told her I would come by. I told my mom I'd swing by in a few days, just to get her out of my office and stop the embarrassment. A couple days later, I showed up at their new house. They had moved into a much bigger place, clearly using the money from the divorce settlement. I figured the alimony was helping cover their bills too. But honestly, it barely made a dent in my paycheck now, so I didn't care much. My brother wasn't home, and my ex was sleeping upstairs. So it was just me and my parents. I did not bother with any small talk, I just waited for them to say whatever it was they had to say. After sitting there in awkward silence for about 5 minutes, my dad finally spoke up. He told me that my brother had lost his job, and they were starting to struggle financially. He said they saw the post about my recent promotion and hoped I could help out, since things were getting tight. Now, both my parents are retired. My brother is unemployed. My ex has no plans to go back to work anytime soon, especially not with a newborn. And although I knew how expensive that household must be, I was stunned that they had the nerve to ask me for help. After everything they had done, after choosing sides during the divorce, now they wanted a favor. For a moment, I was speechless. I could not believe what I was hearing. But then it hit me, I didn't owe them anything. So I stood up and walked toward the door. Just as I opened it, I came face to face with my brother. He looked surprised to see me. My parents started calling out behind me, begging me to stay and talk. But I did not even say a word. I stepped out. It was raining hard, and my car was parked down by the lawn. I was soaked by the time I got to it, and my mood was already at rock bottom. That's when they followed me outside, my parents and my brother, one last desperate attempt. While I was fumbling around for my keys, they tried again. This time, it was my brother who spoke. Now this guy had always walked around like he was better than everyone, entitled, smug, all because my parents spent his whole life inflating his ego. So hearing him ask me for help, that was surreal. I could tell it must have taken a lot for him to even say those words, so maybe things really were bad for them. But I snapped. I told them all to leave me alone. I said if they were truly that desperate, they could try begging strangers on the street, because a random person would have more sympathy for them than I ever would. And with that, I got in my car and drove away. Left them standing in the rain. I won't lie, there was something deeply satisfying about it. These people had treated me like garbage my whole life. 2 days have passed since that night, and honestly, I do not know what to feel anymore. My mom's been texting me non-stop, and yeah, I feel guilty. I have the money. Giving them some cash would not hurt me. But deep down, it just feels like they are trying to use me, again. So, am I the bad guy for refusing to help the same people who stood by my ex during the divorce? Update 1. In the end, I chose not to help them. It was a big decision for me, because I genuinely felt guilty about turning my back on my own family. But then it hit me, they had been doing the exact same thing to me for years. Even during the divorce, they sided with the people who betrayed me. So why should I feel bad about walking away? I messaged my mom and told her to stop harassing me. I warned her that if this continued, I'd get my lawyers involved, and it would not end well. That made them angry, obviously. A few days later, my brother showed up at my place. He said he was sorry for how I was treated as a kid, but that he could not help being naturally better than me. According to him, that is just why our parents always favored him. He even had the nerve to say I was being childish for holding a grudge and that I should just grow up and help them out like a normal son would. I laughed right in his face. The way he talked was absolutely insane. I told him if he had this much free time to come over and belittle me, maybe he should be using it to look for a job. That clearly hit a nerve. He started yelling, saying I was jealous that even my ex-wife preferred him over me, and that I was being petty by refusing to help. I didn't argue. I just told him, yeah, maybe I am being petty. Maybe I am getting revenge. And there is not a damn thing you can do about it. That shut him up. But not for long. He got furious, said he would come after me, and make me pay one way or another, and that I'd regret ever talking to him like that. Honestly, I am not worried. He can try whatever he wants, he has no power over me anymore. Update 2. 3 days ago, my brother came by again and tried to convince me one more time. It didn't work. My parents had already failed, so this time they sent in my ex-wife. She called me. I hesitated but answered, thinking maybe I could avoid more drama by hearing her out. Big mistake. She started off sounding sweet. Said she knew I had no reason to help after what they did. But she asked me to consider being the bigger person. She tried guilt-tripping me by saying my parents had paid for everything while I was growing up and that she had done her best to be a good wife. Yeah, right. My parents ignored me most of my life and treated my brother like a king. And she? She cheated on me with him. The same guy I used to complain to her about. So no, that speech did not move me at all. I told her, as calmly as I could, that I was already paying more than I should, alimony included. She never deserved a dime after cheating, but because my family twisted the truth during the divorce, she walked away with more than she earned. Then she started crying. Said I was being selfish. Heartless. It was almost funny. I told her I was sorry they were going through tough times, but I would not be the one to bail them out. She told me I left her no other choice but to get the legal system involved. Said she was going to file for higher alimony now that I had been promoted and that she'd drag me back into court to embarrass me all over again. Honestly, I'd love to see her try. The first time this all went down, I was so beat up emotionally, so mentally drained, I didn't even have the strength to fight. I just signed whatever they put in front of me and accepted the terms. I didn't bother defending myself or proving anything. I just wanted it to be over. I was never controlling or toxic or whatever else they said I was. She cheated on me because she wanted to, not because of anything I did. She didn't deserve a penny, but I let it go. But not this time. This time, I was ready. Update 3. She actually followed through and filed for more money. For the first time ever, she meant what she said. But I didn't fold. I let our mutual friends know what was going on. Most of them had no clue why we really split, they just thought it didn't work out. So I told them everything. The cheating, the lies, the manipulation. They were shocked. And every single one of them offered to back me up in court if it came to that. I also told my lawyer I wanted to fight to end the alimony completely. She never earned it, and I wasn't going to keep paying a liar. I spent days collecting every piece of evidence I could. Messages, statements, anything that could show how my parents and my brother had treated me like garbage my whole life and now were trying to leech off me because I was finally doing well. Even a few cousins, people I was never particularly close with, stepped up to support me. They remembered how I was always the odd one out growing up, and they agreed to testify if needed. My lawyer was confident we had a rock-solid case, and honestly, I believed it too. She cheated. She lied. They twisted the truth last time and painted me as the bad guy, made my brother out to be some kind of savior. Not this time. I brought in video recordings. Friends, relatives, people who knew the truth. When my family saw all that, they had nothing to say. Dead silent. I think they expected me to roll over again. But I wasn't that broken kid anymore. I was stronger now, stronger because of what they put me through. And finally, just yesterday, it was all over. The judge ruled in my favor. No more alimony. I cannot describe how that felt. I walked out of that courtroom like I was 10 feet tall. I saw the look on their faces, pure shock. My ex looked like she might start crying right then and there. And I felt nothing. I was finally free. I planned on going home, ordering some good food, maybe watching a movie. Just enjoying some peace. But of course, my family just had to ruin even that. I was just a few steps from my house when I saw my brother's car parked outside. Confused, I went up, and there they were. My entire family. Blocking my front door. I just stood there for a second, completely thrown off. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't say anything at all. I told them to get off my property or I'd call the cops. That's when my dad spoke up. He told me I should be ashamed of myself. Said I had abandoned my family in their darkest hour, that I had no sense of responsibility, that I betrayed them by choosing money over blood. I didn't respond. I didn't want to give them the satisfaction. I knew what they were doing, trying to rile me up, get me emotional, make me lose control. But I wasn't falling for that again. My silence made them angrier. My mom started yelling, demanding I answer my father. Still, I said nothing. Just stood there. Calm. Cold. Not giving them an inch. Then my brother snapped. He grabbed me by the collar and tried to punch me. My dad pulled him back at the last second. And then came the classic line, my brother screamed that I was just a bitter loser, jealous that everyone always liked him more, and now I was taking revenge by not helping them. That part was funny. Real funny. Coming from an unemployed guy still living with our parents, begging me for money. I looked him dead in the eyes and told them to leave. I said I was ready to call the cops and, considering their bank accounts were empty, they should probably start running while they still could. They backed off. Slowly. But not before my mom gave one last try, guilt-tripping me, trying to squeeze out a few bucks. Didn't work. And then they were gone. It's been almost a full day now. No texts. No calls. Nothing. And I'm hoping to God it stays that way,